guys, it's Sierra, your host,
Hi, it's Joanna, your co-host.
and you're listening to the Color of Home podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Color of Home podcast. We're so happy you're here with us today. Today we have a very fun topic. We're going to be talking about jobs, and we're going to talk about Joanna's first job experience, my first job experience, and interviews, and what to say, maybe what you should not say in an interview. So yeah, we're super excited about that, and it's going to be a fun topic.
Yeah.
Joanna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I got to sleep in today. One of my clients canceled a shift today, so I got to sleep in for the first time on a Saturday. So it's been a long time. I know. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. To be honest, I'm a little tired today, but we'll make it through. I have my coffee, so we're good to go. I've just recently been listening to a new podcast. Maddie Pruitt-Trout is the host of it, and she has a podcast called Stay True. So yeah, that's something new I've been listening to. But I was just on one of her episodes, she was talking about that she was on The Bachelor. Have you seen?
Okay, that's what I thought. Yes, I was like, this girl was definitely on The Bachelor. Like,
Yeah.
I remember the name, and I think I follow her on social media.
Mm-hmm. And she's like a Christian podcaster. So I was like so curious, like, why is this girl on The Bachelor? Because, you know, The Bachelor's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's mixed feelings about it, but I like to watch it.
We still watch it. We still watch it here.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's on season 24. So I was like, okay, well, now I have to go watch season 24. So I'm not kidding. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. last night binging this. I'm only on like episode 4 or something, but it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. You got a lot to catch up on.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I did. My girls and I. No, I won't. I won't.
I mean, I know she like makes it to the end. I think like she makes it because she was talking about her experience on her podcast, but she makes it like all the way to the finale, and like he's about to propose to her, and then she says she was like, "Well, we have different values." I'm like, girl, why'd you wait till the very end to tell this guy you didn't have the same values?
Exactly. Just string him along.
I know.
It was probably the producers on TV were like, stay a little longer.
Yeah.
I don't know, make good TV. Because everybody, she was like a fan favorite. Like everybody liked her.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You know who we need to have on The Bachelor?
Who?
Miss Joanna over here. The next Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sign me up.
I will. You know, Maddie's friend signed her up and she got picked, so maybe I should just sign you up. You never know.
You know, with Love is Blind, I tried signing up for that a couple times.
Did you really?
I did. But
Yes.
like every single one was like in the US. So interesting. Because then I was like, I think they pick people from Canada too. But I just, when it came to the video, you had to make a video about yourself. And I was like, oh no, I can't.
We
I
can
can't
just
do
submit
this.
our podcast and they can watch and hear all about
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Let's do it.
It's my time.
That'd be perfect. Yes, so fun.
Oh my word.
One day.
Looking for my Prince Charming, that's right.
Yes, he's out there somewhere. We just
Yeah.
have to find him.
Yeah. If you're out there listening.
Send in your application. I will review. Filter all the crazies out.
Oh my word.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Speaking about applying, we have a very fun topic today. We're talking about jobs and interviews and what you should say, what you should not say in an interview. And for those of you who don't know me, I now own my own business. I have a little coffee shop. It's called Luna Bean Coffee House. And so I am a boss myself now, but it definitely took some time and learning to get there for sure. And not so much fun learning. Some of it was a little bit embarrassing along the way. But yes, for those of you who are just graduating high school and maybe you're going back to your home country for the first time in a while and it's time to apply for a job, we want to kind of have a little tool to guide you along the way.
Now that we're talking about jobs, Sierra, do you remember what your first job ever was? And was it a good experience?
Yes. So My first job that I ever had was at Herberger's, and Herberger's is a store in our, or was a store in our mall. I think it's closed now, but it was like a clothing, shoe, home department store. Like you could kind of pretty much buy like whatever you needed there.
Right.
But when I went to apply, I was kind of hoping to be like in clothing or the home section of it, but they were the only position they had available was shoes, and so I got stuck in the shoe department. And little me, like clueless, had no idea, but they're like, yeah, well, you make commission on top of your base pay, so like it'll be
Yeah.
great and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, sure. Like I just was like looking for anything I could find, and this was the first job that had called me back, so I was like, okay, great. So I get there and I find out like I'm not even making minimum wage because apparently you make commission off each shoe sale, and so yeah, like that adds to your base pay. But first of all, I'm not outgoing, or it wasn't at the time because I had just gotten back to the States. So like I'm not gonna go out and be like, hey, like look at this pair of shoes. I think this would be great for you. Like no, it's not a good shoe saleswoman. So like I hardly ever sold any shoes. So yeah, that was just like it was just not a good job for me. What about you, Joanna? Do you have any first job experiences?
Yeah, mine did not go very well. So my first was McDonald's,
Oh, I did
and
not know that.
yeah, but this was like during one of our furloughs. So I was like grade seven, eight, or nine. I can't remember. Like in junior high, and I was like, I want my own money. I want to, do my own thing. And so my brother was working. My oldest brother was working at McDonald's at that time, and so he got me the job basically. And
Nice.
they're like, Ryland's great. Ryland's fast. They're just expecting the same thing from me. Like, girl, I didn't even know how to work a computer. I
Yeah.
don't know how to work computers or any
Mm-hmm.
technology. And like half the job is like screens and taking orders and like, yeah. So needless to say, I like failed very miserably and I got very anxious all the time. And then they
Oh,
basically put me on the fry station because I messed up so many orders. They're
they're
like,
like,
just
here,
go.
you can be on fries. You put them in the oil and you take them out.
Yeah. And I even messed that up, girl. Like I
Oh
messed
no!
the
Oh
fries, like I made too many fries at once, and so it was like all cold by the
no!
time the
Oh
customers were,
shoot!
and there, yeah, it was not a good experience. And so
Yeah.
I quit after like basically a week or so working, maybe
Mm,
2 weeks,
yeah.
and I was like, I can't do this. And yeah, they're like, yeah, we would have fired you if you had quit.
They were like waiting for you to quit. They're like, "Jeez, we have this girl." I'm just kidding. Oh, JoJo, it's
So
okay. You
that
gotta
was,
start somewhere. You have to learn
yeah.
eventually.
I
So,
mean, I was like probably like 14 or 15 or something like that. Like I
really.
literally, yeah, grade 8.
So
Yeah, and
this
I
was
was
a
just,
summer job then,
yeah,
when you were
I
like
was
on
just like,
furlough. Oh, okay.
yeah, I was like, I just want to work. I know some people
Yeah.
my age working and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like, yeah, and yeah, that was not a good experience for me.
Oh.
So yeah.
Hey, it's okay. I mean,
Uh,
at least you got experience young though. Like
I
that's
did,
so
yeah.
good. Like to
Mm-hmm.
like come back. I think I remember trying to get a job when we came back on our furlough, but we were only here for like a month or two, so it would have been really difficult.
Yeah.
But I think that's such good advice for those who would maybe be coming back on a furlough, to find a job because it's a little bit of experience thrown in there for you. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
definitely.
My first job too, I think I was only there for like 3 weeks because I had applied at like multiple places, and I
Mm-hmm.
had applied at the hospital as like a healthcare assistant, which is like a CNA, only you don't have to be certified and you get paid less. So yeah, that was fun. But so I had applied there, and after I had gotten the job at Herberger's, the hospital had called me back and said that I had gotten a job. So I was like, well, the hospital pays better. So I had just quit. And that
Better
was
than
a learning
shoes.
experience because let me tell you, I went up to the lady and I was like, I didn't know you had to give it 2 weeks. I had absolutely no idea what that was. So like I walk up to the lady and it's like, yeah, so I got this other job. So like I'm just not gonna be working here anymore. And she goes, honey, that's not really how it works. You need to give a 2 weeks notice.
Sierra,
You're like,
no.
Coach, yes. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. But yeah. So now as a boss, I absolutely hate it when people don't give you 2 weeks. So I completely understand. But yes,
Oh
if you
my
are
word.
ever leaving a job, you have to give it 2 weeks. You don't have to, but it's very polite and kind
Very
if you
polite,
do.
yeah.
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 And then
Wow.
future jobs will look at that and see, like, hey, you finished out your 2 weeks. Like, that's great. So
Yeah, exactly.
you're a
So
reliable
for you,
employee.
exactly. Well, for you as a boss, like, is there like a certain type of person that like, are you guys pretty open to like hiring anybody, or is it just like, oh, you need to have barista on your resume?
Yeah, so no, we don't like require them to have coffee experience or
Okay.
anything like that. But during my hiring process, I always tell like the people that I'm interviewing or about to hire, like I would rather hire your personality and your kindness over
Mm-hmm.
your experience because you can't train people to be kind or respectful or nice or hardworking, but you can train them to learn coffee. So yeah,
Yes.
that's
Oh, that's
that's
so
something I
good.
always tell them.
Yeah, because I know that like a lot of people, at least I have the fear, I'm like, oh, they want the person that's good at this field.
Mm.
But it's like I don't have as much experience. So then like that also like deters me from applying for certain things.
Yeah, and even though you may not have like the job experience, I think it just depends like on what job you're applying for too. Like when you first get back, obviously you're not applying for jobs that are like your career jobs, right? Like for
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to college for, you're not going to go apply to be a doctor right away or a dentist or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
yeah, like just put yourself out there, apply to anything you can. For me, like the one job that like was my favorite and I had absolutely zero experience was I worked at is called Oregon Trail Eye Center, but it was like a eye surgery clinic, and so they did eye diseases and eye surgeries and all sorts of stuff. So it wasn't really glasses; it was more like diseases in your eye and stuff like that. So yeah, I had absolutely no experience, and I started out as a receptionist there, and I loved being the receptionist. Like, I know that might not work for everybody's school schedule, but if you're taking a gap year, like, I think a receptionist job would be like perfect. And then from there, like, I just kind of continued to work my way up, and I would talk to my boss, be like, hey, like, I'd really like to work in this position one day. And then I eventually got worked up to like a workup tech. So then I started like traveling with the doctors, and they like trained me everything. Like, I didn't go to school for anything, but they trained me all in this job of like what to do, and then I ended up training nurses that were coming and being hired. So like it was really crazy. Like
Wow.
if they see that you're a hard worker and like you're reliable, you're dedicated, you care about the job, that you're kind, nice person, like I think that people are willing to train you even though you might not have the experience. So
Yeah, you will climb very quickly up the ladder if you continue to be kind and loving and just like have a positive attitude. I find that that's like the most helpful. So,
yeah, no, that's great advice. You guys like
mhm.
hard work shines through more than anything else. Like you have to work hard. You can't just show up, like just be there for the paycheck and like no, like you have to prove yourself. You have to work hard.
Mhm.
And in today's day and age, like I think your bosses or employers will see that right away because it's very rare. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, if you work hard, like it'll show through. People will notice.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a good story about that because so
Yeah.
my father-in-law came from Mexico, had like absolutely nothing, started from ground zero, like absolutely nothing. And then he kind of like found like side jobs here and there, and then he eventually worked himself up to where he now owns one of the most successful restaurants in my area, and is doing very well for himself. And obviously it's not all about the money, but I think that just shows like how hard work can get you far in life. Like you have to work hard for things. So
Yeah. Do you feel that like because especially like people who come from like other countries have immigrated to the States or Canada, do you think that like because you have so much going on in life that you have to like kind of like not mask, but you kind of like there's so much going on that you're like I have no option to fail, and so just
mm,
like the attitude and the amount of work and effort that they put in to get to where
yeah.
they are at, like do you think
Hmm.
that's a thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
they see the seriousness of it and that it is their
Yeah.
life, it is their livelihood, not just for them, but for their spouse and for their kids,
Hmm.
all of that. And so, yeah, I think it definitely is a driving force behind their hard work. for
Yeah,
sure.
and I think it's a thing with um MKs too. Like when I think
Hmm.
about it, like even my siblings, my brother Rylan specifically, like every place he's worked, his bosses are like, "You're such a good worker, you're
Mm.
whatever," and that's like, I think it's like, and I've never gotten any bad reports either from my bosses. They're often like really sad that I'm leaving or when I
Besides
decide to.
McDonald's.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
kidding.
that was a different story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
that was that was a bad experience.
They're like, Joanna, flip
if
those
if
fries quicker.
if you want to work in McDonald's, do it. If that's the career choice you want,
Yes.
work hard in it. Work for the Lord in that field. Work for
Yep.
my calling.
Exactly. Sorry. Anyways.
No, I just find that like just like a lot of like MKs like or just like people who've had other cultural experiences, I think that the positivity and like the I don't know, the attitude we enter the workforce in
Hmm.
is like it's so rewarding, I think, for the employers, because I think that like one of my things I used to do before I went to work, I'd be like, Lord, like, because I work with people, and so it's like I don't want to like be angry if like one of my clients who have dementia just asks me the same question like 500 times that day and
Mm,
it's like
yeah.
I'm getting irritated or they're upset about something. You don't want that to affect you. And I do remember having to be like, okay, God, I'm coming to work today.
Yeah.
I want you to work in me, let me serve others, have a positive attitude. And I like, to be
Mm,
honest, like I think it worked in every job because like when I came
yeah.
in, everybody's like, wow, like I got such good feedbacks and like all my bosses didn't
Hmm.
they're like, you don't have to
Mm.
worry about you. And I just think it's like Christ
Oh,
work
yeah.
also in our lives and like what we bring to the
Hmm.
workforce. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up too, because I think another thing too that our listeners should be aware of if they've never had a job before is that like going to work every day, you might not work with like people who are Christ loving or have Jesus in their life. And so that's another element on top of that that makes it a little bit difficult to go to work. I remember for me, like when I did work at Oregon Trail, I absolutely loved it, except there was this one person that was like so mean to me every day I would go
Oh
to work. Like she
no.
hated me. I don't know why, but it was awful. Like
Wow.
I just hated my life going there. But I remember praying every day before work, like, Lord, help me not to quit this job. Help me to serve you. Help me to have a smile on my face. Like just help me like show you through me, and be loving. And she ended up moving, I think, or I don't really know what happened. But I feel like if I had not had Christ in my life and his strength to get me through that, I would not have had some of the opportunities I had and
Yeah.
met some of my best friends that I have to this day through my job. Um, but yeah, I mean, that was a little bit sidetracked from what you were saying, Joanna, but just having
No.
Christ in you is going to make such a difference, and people around you are going to notice that as well, and it's going to make you a stronger person as well through that. So,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah.
So, what happened? So, this is like you get off the plane, like you left the country your parents were
Hmm.
serving in, or you left your home country and you're going back to another home country. Like, so what are the first steps you would encourage somebody to do when they're looking for work, or how would they proceed in that?
Yeah, so like I guess if you're first going back to your home country, obviously you're going to take maybe like a week or two to decompress and adjust to the jet lag. But my advice would be start applying to jobs as soon as possible. You can get online, like make a little resume. I know there's like websites that like already have the template. You just fill it out. You're not going to have any work experience, but that's okay.
There's also
Sometimes,
ChatGPT to help you.
yes, ChatGPT, great tool. um, but yeah, you're not going to have any work experience, but you just put on there that you're a hard worker, you're willing to learn, you're willing to work whatever hours, even if they're early, 5:30, late at night, you're willing to work them. That's going to show you're a hard worker. Yeah, and so then you take that and then you just start applying to places wherever you can find. Like I said, if you're not going to school, I feel like a receptionist job is like a great one. But if they don't call you back, you still have to keep applying. My mom always told me when we first got back, like, you can't be picky. You just have to apply. You can't pick and choose what job you want to work at. Like, I know for my sister and I were like, well, we don't want to work there, or I really want to work here. And that's just not like how it is. Like, unfortunately, it's
Unfortunately,
sometimes jobs are hard to find. So you just have to start applying wherever you can. And once you have one, then you just work really hard at that one. And yeah, and then you can go from there. Another thing too, guys, is not to job hop. So that is the number one red flag I see on applications. If I won't even give the time of day to look over the application. If I see that you just graduated high school and it's only been a year or two and you've had 6 jobs, out the window. I'm not even going to look at it. Because if you did that to them, you're going to do it to me. So why would I waste 2 weeks of training, paying you all this time if you're going to leave me in a month? Like, no. So don't job hop.
Right.
Even if you hate the job, you stick through it for at least 6 to 8 months. You have to stick through it. So that's one piece of advice I would give.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know if you had any thoughts. Why did you?
Because I was like, I feel like I stick to a job for like 2 years and then I'm like, I'm done. I'm burnt out. I need to move on.
2 years is pretty good though.
Okay, I was like,
okay,
yeah. I was talking to my mom. She's like, you don't stick to things very long. I was like, oh.
2 years is good, especially if it's not like your like career, you know? Like
yeah, it's not my career. I mean, yeah, it's trying to figure out, exactly what my passions are. And because healthcare is such a vast field, like you have to try so many different things in that, like it could be with the same company, but just different angles of the job, just to be able to see which actually suits you the best. Because I mean, I know some people are just so content of just like, I graduated, that's it, and I'm just gonna stick here till like I retire, which is also like can be good. But like for me, I'm like, I think I need that like certain things that like fits me perfectly, you know. But
and like we've talked about in the past, like as MKs or TCKs, third culture kids, like you need that change. And so like I don't think it's bad to change your job. Like not at all. You need a different change, pace of life. But every other month, like every other 4 months, like that's a little ridiculous. So you guys just take a deep breath. You'll be fine. You can get through it. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. And
I had this professor tell me once, like, if you're working, this is for career people, like who already have their career, but if you're working in a specific career and then you start feeling that you're just really like every day is so hard to get up and you start hating your job or hating your clients or hating like all of it just seems like I just hate everything. She's like, that's probably a case of burnout and you need to like take a step back, whether it's like a holiday or like try something brief for a second and then come back, because you can burn out and like a lot of fields that we go into. And so it's just like you don't want to be stuck in something where it's like your mental health can get so bad because you're like, I'm sticking through with this till I retire. It's like, if you're burnt out, get some help, get refreshed, travel Europe like I did for 3 months.
Take a break, travel the world, save up your money from your hard work, then go take a vacation.
Exactly.
That's awesome. No, that's great advice too. But maybe we could talk about like some questions in your interview that you might get asked. And then we can kind of talk about like the answers you should give and then the answers you shouldn't give. So
also like beforehand, so when going to an interview, what are some things people should expect, or like how should they appear? What are some things like, okay, you landed, you're rested, you're not jet lagged anymore, you applied for jobs, they called you back, hey, we want you to come in for an interview. Like, what is the next step that they should expect before we even get into like the actual interview?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So I would say get there at least 5 to 10 minutes early. You don't want to be late. If my interview is late, they're going to be late to their job. But I would advise you to get there at least 5 to 10 minutes early. That shows them that you're dedicated, that you're committed, and you're going to be on time. You're a reliable employee. So I would do that for sure. And then the second thing, make sure you're presentable. Don't come in your sweatpants and your messy bun or t-shirt you slept in or whatever. Like actually get yourself ready for the day. Look presentable. Yeah, your appearance, like unfortunately that does kind of have to do with getting a job as well as can you take care of yourself and you can take care of
Yeah,
holding a job. So yeah,
exactly.
that's always good. And yeah, just be yourself, be welcoming, be
Yeah.
friendly. Say, hi, I'm so and so. Like, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for bringing
Yeah.
me in today. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, one thing that blindsided me on a few of my first interviews I've had is that sometimes you're not just being interviewed by one person. I
Oh,
was
that's a
once in an
great one.
interview with four people. It was like the
Yep.
owner of the retirement home, the human resource person, the housekeeping, and then the other job that they wanted me to fill in casually. And I was like,
Yeah.
four people on the
Yeah.
other side, and then me. And I was like, I was never taught this, that like it wasn't just gonna be me one on one with like the recruiter or whoever's like,
Right.
that was shocking. That scared
Yeah.
me so
That's
bad.
a great point too. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think my
Yeah.
first interview was a single person, but then my second one it was four people because it was at the hospital and it was like the manager,
Yes.
the like floor person and like all this stuff. So, yeah, there was four
Yeah.
people. And I will say like at the coffee shop when Anthony was training me, it was me, Anthony, my husband, and then my manager Sophia. So there was three of us interviewing a barista. Now it's just me and Sophia and sometimes just me if she's not there. But yeah, so that's a great point. Yeah, there is some times where it's more than one person and all of them might be asking you questions, so it gets a little bit intimidating, but you can do
Yeah, I
it.
was, girl, I was like, I'm about to pass out. I was like,
I
I'm not prepared
know.
for this.
No,
I
I'm
like
so glad
looked.
you brought that up. That's a great
Yeah,
point.
I would practice in the mirror all the questions they could
Oh
possibly
yeah.
ask me, and I was like, I'm so prepared. And I went, I was like, yo, this was literally the most scariest thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I know. I remember all of my interviews just like shaking. Like I would be so nervous, I'd be jittery, and now I like that I'm the one interviewing. Like I still get nervous to interview. I hate doing it.
really, oh my
I do. I
word.
mean, I'm getting better, but like I still get pretty nervous because I don't know. I have some funny stories I can share with you guys later, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I still get nervous. So even though you're nervous, I'm sure the person interviewing you might be nervous as well. So it's okay.
Now we're getting, you arrive at the interview, you find out there's like however many people, you're prepared. And so now you're sitting down in front of these people. So, what are some questions that you could be asked, or, yeah, it's going to be asked to you?
Yeah. So I'm sure it depends on where you're applying, obviously, and everyone's a little bit different, but these are just some of the main questions I always ask. So I always just start off saying, like, hi, how are you doing today? And just kind of get to know them. And I always look over their work history. So whatever job they were most recently at, so say it was Pizza Hut. I'm like, yeah, so it looks like you just worked at Pizza Hut. Like, tell me a little bit about some of your roles and responsibilities there. And they usually go on to tell me, well, I would roll out the dough and then I was in charge of counting the drawers at night and making sure the tables were clean and whatever, you know. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's great. So what was your reason for leaving there? And then that way it tells me, were they fired? Did they have issues with management or did they just quit? Are they wanting something new? Like that kind of like tells me a little bit more about their work history. And so that might be a question you were asked, but if you have never had any work history, obviously like, they won't be
Yeah.
asking you that. But yeah, that's one of the main ones I ask. And then I always ask like if they're a quick learner, because like your employers aren't going to want to take 3-4 weeks to train you in something. Like they want to make sure you can pick up on the tasks quickly and efficiently, not you're going to jump right on it and try your hardest. So I always ask that. Also always ask, do you get along with a team? Like, can you work with coworkers well? And you guys would be surprised at the amount of people that sit there and say no. Do not say no. Even if you don't work well, you don't say no. You
No
just
way.
say, yes, I love working with people. I get along with anybody. Like, I'm a hard worker. Like, I don't do drama. Like, if there's anything, if I had conflicts, I would come to management or figure it out myself. Like, you don't say you can't work with other people well because you're not going to get the job. So,
Oh
yes.
my word. Wow.
Yeah, crazy. And then I also always ask if they have any vacation times coming up. that they would need off. Because if you have like a big trip or something planned, say your family is going on a family vacation to wherever
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 days, that's something you need to communicate with your boss, because if you get hired and you did not tell them that, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get that time off. And your parents aren't going to be the ones doing it for you. You're going to need to be the one to communicate that with them.
Yeah.
And so I've had several times where they haven't told me that, and then I schedule them, and they're like, well, actually, I forgot to tell you, but my family's taking this vacation. I'm like, I'm so sorry you didn't tell me that in your interview, and I'm counting on you. You need to be here. And then since they already had a plan, they'll just not come to work and they quit. So don't be that person. Tell your boss in the interview all the vacation time you need off, any days
Yeah.
you might need off, any doctor's appointments ahead of time. That way it's not an issue later down the road, like when you are hired.
Like, would you mean like a time that they're needing off, like recently, or let's say, like, so they need to tell you the time that they are going on vacation, but like, let's say they don't have that knowledge of like for the whole year of when their vacation is that okay? Or is it like you're
Yeah.
meaning more like when you get hired, if they say in a week I'm going on vacation, they need to let you know, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, or if it's
That
like a
makes sense.
long vacation plan, because your
Right.
work always, so say I hired you in the summer and then that fall you had a 2 week vacation to Mexico with your family. That's
Yeah.
something like I would need to know about. But if
Yeah.
it's like I need 1 to 2 days off, like, and you don't, maybe you don't know about this when you're interviewing, and it's I hire you and then you want some time off. No, that's different. Usually your employers have like a time off request form that you fill and submit, and then your employer can approve it or decline it. But I'm mainly talking about like the big trips that
Yeah.
like people don't tell you about. Oh, I have a wedding, I'm getting married in a month. Like, okay, you're gonna probably take a honeymoon too, so like that's something I should have known. Like, I
Yeah.
can't just give you 2 weeks off. Like, I'm gonna have to hire somebody else now to fill in that time. So yeah, that, and this is more so like for small businesses as well. Like, I don't know exactly for like the big corporate businesses, but even at Oregon Trail, like I would still have to fill out like time off request forms, and yeah. But
Well, that's
did that
good.
answer your question?
That was perfect. Yeah, that was like really good.
Yeah.
And then like, so let's say they did the interview. Well, I don't know what else they need to, what happens with the interview, but like, it's probably not that long. Normally, I think I'm there for like 20 minutes max or less. Like,
Yeah, 20 minutes is pretty long. I usually do like 10 to 15.
yeah, I was like,
15
most of the
long,
time
yeah.
it's like 15, the longest maybe, but like sometimes if it's like four people, it's a little bit longer because they all have their questions.
Yeah.
Let's say like the person like leaves and stuff, like, do you know like how long, or like, I guess every job is different, will they hear back?
Yeah.
Is there like, what do they expect after this interview happen? Like, what's the next step for
Sure.
them?
So, if I were the person applying, I usually, so let me back up. If I interview somebody at the end of the interview, I always tell them, like, okay, thank you so much for coming in today. And I usually am trying to hire right away. So I will always call people back within a day or two, maybe at the end of the week if I have a little bit more time. But yeah, a week at max is like the length of period I would like wait to call somebody back, but usually it's within a day or two. And so I always say at the end of my interviews, thank you so much for coming in today. Like, it was nice to meet you. I'm trying to hire somebody as soon as possible. So look forward to hearing from us. If you don't, I might have gone with someone else who has a little bit more coffee experience.
Right.
And I guess I would tell them in the day, like, look forward to hearing from us in the next day or two. If you
Right.
don't, then, so yeah, I would say within a day or two is like average.
I wish they
Maybe
would call
a
you.
week. I know.
I wish they'd
I'm
be like,
sorry.
sorry, you didn't get the job, but
I
instead you're
know.
like waiting, checking everything. I know it's just like universal
Yeah.
thing, but like, I'm
Yeah.
like, just call me. Like,
I
I
know.
made
And I
all
guess
that effort.
you could always call too. I have plenty of people call and ask on the status of their application. So if you haven't heard back within a day or two, just call and say, hey, I'm just checking on the status of my application.
Exactly.
But that's why it's so important to apply to multiple places. So that way you're not applying to one place at a time, waiting 3 to 4 days. Okay, didn't hear back. Now I got to go apply this. And then 2 or 3 weeks go by and you still don't have a job. Whereas if you apply to 4 or 5 places, then you're more
Yeah.
likely to hear back quicker. And
Right.
yeah, so.
Yeah, don't put your eggs all in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, I mean, like, I do think you do want to enjoy what you do and you do want to be open to getting
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I remember taking so many, like, tests. I don't know what they're called. Like, just like career tests of, like, not just career, but like, oh, what kind of jobs would I be good into? Like, should I go into? And I was like, I found out I was good with people. So I needed to do a job that was, like,
Yeah.
people orientated and stuff. So, like, I think that like if you need to take some tests like that or like even ask friends or
Mm-hmm.
family like hey like based on my personality
Mm-hmm.
like what do you think would be a career choice or a job that I could go into that would actually be a good choice
Right.
for me or based on my personality. It would just
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to ask for help for like friends or family too
Yeah.
to be like
Yeah, absolutely. And like word of mouth, guys, like if you tell people like, "Hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you know of anybody that's hiring?" Like that goes a long ways. And even if they don't have a now hiring sign up or anything on Indeed, you can just walk into a place like, "Hey, is your manager available or is your boss available? Like, I'm looking for a job. I didn't know if you guys had any positions available." And you never know what might pop up. So yeah, don't be
yeah.
afraid to put yourself out there.
So like when I moved to like Calgary from Saskatchewan, like I was like looking for a job for 3 months. Like the job market is just really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the Canadians, it's like pretty bad for us. But like I was applying a lot online. I think I did like over 200 applications for like three
Wow, that's
months.
a
I was just
lot.
applying. Yeah, I was like literally applying everywhere
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I'm certified, like I have a career, like I have my my education, but it was still very hard. And so I came to the point where I started like harassing, not in a bad way. i
Yeah.
would I would literally go to their website, find their manager or the people who run the
Mm-hmm.
company, whether some of the times I messaged the owner of the whole company, but I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to find an email address and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is me. Here's like my resume. Here's literally like all my certification. And like I
Mm-hmm.
personally just emailed them and was like, here's my stuff. And actually, that's kind of like how I got some of my jobs, like, because I worked for like
Yeah.
two jobs casually and like my main one. So I'm like, yeah, like it actually,
Mm-hmm.
like I cut the line because I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
went directly to the owner and he was like,
Well, it
oh,
shows your
like,
dedication. Like it shows that you
it
care and that
does.
you really want to work. And yeah.
Yeah. And so therefore like they were like, "Oh, thank you so much for reaching out to us. We'll get in contact on your behalf to the
Mm-hmm.
hiring manager." And then they like sent all my stuff to them and then I got a call and I was like, "Oh my word." Like so
Yeah.
it works
It does.
because I'm like just
Yeah.
going on Indeed and just like filling out application. I just felt like that wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
working.
Yeah.
And so and it is definitely more helpful if you know people. I think that's probably
Yeah.
the easiest way to get into a job is by word of mouth and knowing
Yeah.
having connections. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, no, that's a great point that you made because I have people call the coffee shop all the time, just like I said earlier, asking on the status of their application. And I get so many applicants, you guys, on Indeed that I don't even see half of them sometimes. So if they call, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, let me go pull that up and look. And if I think they're a good one, I'll bring them in. So yeah, like Joanna was saying, like just taking that extra step, putting in the extra effort to follow up on your application and just tracking down whoever's in charge, like, hey, I really need a job, like I'm really looking. So
yeah.
yeah, that was great advice. And even through your church too, guys, like we were saying, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like several people that my parents had known in the church, like, hey, I'm looking for a job. When my sister came back, she kind of got a job through word of mouth through our church. He had like a tree company and they would go cut down trees. Anyways, Brick ended up working for him and she just loved it because they were outside all the time. She always talks about how ripped her muscles got from like carrying and hauling the big logs off for him. But yeah, like that job's not going to be on Indeed or wherever because
Yeah.
it's just like a small little company he
Yeah.
has here, like so yeah, anyways, word
Yeah.
of mouth is good too. So just
And
put it out
speaking
there
about
that you're looking.
churches, like I know that like I don't know if this happens in the States, but I know in Canada a lot of different churches have like summer interns or summer recruiting things where they like can have interns for the summer and it's like paid
Mm,
positions and you just like either help with the kids programs or like even like summer camps. Oh my word, camps are so desperate. Like I don't know if camp is
mm-hmm.
a big thing in the States,
Yeah,
but
it
I know
is.
in Canada it's huge. Like summer hits, all the kids just go to summer camp and like they need volunteers so bad. Like I feel
Yeah.
bad. Like I mean, because like I'm working basically full time. It's really hard to just go for a week. But sometimes they just welcome like short-term volunteers and like you can go help for a week, meet some friends and talk to kids about Jesus or whatever type of
Yeah.
camp you're interested in. So that's also a way to get like a quick job if you are transitioning from like coming back into your home country and you're like, well, what do I do? You could like just
Mm-hmm.
go work at a camp because they do pay. It's not a lot. It's like I feel like it's an easy transition
Yeah.
from just being like I graduated and I'm straight to working. If
Mm-hmm.
you're like I kind of want to just like kind of ease in, still enjoy the summer, I think like camp ministries are like such a great thing. Like ask
Yeah.
your church like, hey, what is our like do you guys need volunteers at camp or just need like
Mm-hmm.
is there some jobs I could go help in the kitchen and then like after I'm done cooking food for the kids, I just hang out with them all afternoon. You know, it's like
Yeah. Right.
there's like
Yeah.
opportunities like that too
Mm-hmm.
that are available. Just ask around.
Great.
Yeah, it makes me miss
Yeah.
summer camps. I'm like, man, do I
I
need to go
know.
back?
I wish I was a kid again and could go back to
I
camp.
know. It's so fun.
You
Oh
know,
my
a
word.
fun one that I always thought would be fun to work at is Hume Lake. Like, remember them coming over
Yes.
and doing like our SCWs? Oh my gosh, they were so
Yes.
awesome. I was like, oh, Hume Lake.
Yeah, I
I
think so
never
many
went.
MKs have worked there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think like
Okay, so that's a good one.
yeah, the Woodards. I think like
Mm.
Brent Woodard might have found his wife there. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Do you
But
know, do you know Shauna and Colton Williams?
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yes, I
working there
do.
right now, or they're helping out
No
there. Yeah,
way,
I saw it on
girl.
Facebook, I think. So, yeah, that's pretty
Oh, that's
cool.
so sweet. I
I
love
know. I
that.
thought that was really neat. Perfect for them. Like Shauna and Colton would be perfect for that. Anyways,
Great people. Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about a little bit about when you're ready to transition from your job to another one. What are some things you should and shouldn't do there? Joanna, did you ever give it 2 weeks? Did you usually give it 2 weeks, or how did you end your first job?
Yeah. Yeah, I always gave a 2 weeks and
Did
I
you
think
know that you were supposed to do that coming back? How did you like learn
I
that?
think I was taught that. Yeah, like
Were
well, you
you?
know what? You know how I learned that is because there's another summer I was in Ontario, so I did VBS 1 year and I was like I made money, but it wasn't a lot. So the next summer I
Mm.
was like I need to make serious money. Camp
Yeah.
is great, but like I need to actually buckle down. And so I worked like that's when I had like my 4 interviews and I worked in a like retirement home. And but before I got that job, I literally went through a program and they literally pay you to be in this program. It's like a government program that literally is like they pay you and they teach you how to do interviews. They teach you how to work and what work ethics and all that
Oh,
stuff. So I
wow.
went through all that. And then at the end of the program, they find a work placement that you're interested in. So I was like, I'm interested in healthcare. And so they're like, perfect. And they're like, do you have a car or do you need to walk? And I was like, I don't have a car. I need to like basically be in this town. So then they reached out to on my behalf to this place and then got me a real interview. Like, so everybody that was in my class, which was like 10 of us or something, and a lot of people just didn't show up, so they didn't pass the program and they didn't get paid. Just, and so like, I'm like, if you're dedicated, I showed up every day, I didn't miss a single class. And like I was getting like $300 every like 2 weeks. I was like for just
Mm.
attending. I was like I don't even know,
Yeah.
but like it
Yeah.
was so great, and they taught me everything. And like I felt like a program like that, that even if it's government run, it was like so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah.
I was so prepared and they taught you how to budget money, how to like
Mm-hmm.
what to do with your first paycheck and everything. And then I
Mm.
went to the job. They even like paid for like my shoes for I was like doing housekeeping and stuff.
Oh,
And they like
wow.
paid for like comfortable shoes, like, oh, get whatever you want and then like
Aw.
give us a receipt and then we'll reimburse you. So then I went,
Really?
yeah, I like got like
Wow.
$200 Adidas shoes. I was like,
What a nice program. Oh my
I,
gosh. Jeez, I need to go to
I know.
Canada.
I know, like it was so cool. And then they proceed to check in on you every like 3 months or like, so how's it going since you went through our program? Have you found that was helpful and stuff? So I
Mm.
don't know. It was like something that's like I guess the government wants to know like is it like helping the youth like being integrated into the workforce and like
Right.
are people actually sticking to it and was this a helpful program? So it's very nice.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
really
was
neat. I've never heard of
yeah.
anything like that before.
And I think if I hadn't taken that, like I literally been so lost. Like it also made
Mm.
me they helped us with our resumes and then like my aunt also like helped me and stuff. So I was able to just like
Yeah.
get into like just all this knowledge I didn't know anything about. I
Yeah, well,
can't
I'm glad
believe
you
it.
knew about it because I did not know about the whole 2 week thing. So I had to learn that the hard way, unfortunately. But it's
That's
fine. We
so
made it
funny.
through.
Yeah. And like when
Yes.
you've ended all your other jobs, you feel like you ended in good notes, or were you
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
besides that awkward 2 week encounter, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I ended
Same.
all my other jobs just fine. So,
Me too. Yeah, I feel like I was
yeah.
always so nervous being like, I gotta tell them I'm leaving, and so like I don't
Yeah.
want to do it.
I
But then like I
know.
do everything accordingly, and they're like, we're gonna miss
Yeah.
you. And if
Yeah.
anything, I'm like, I've had like they've thrown like goodbye parties for me like at every job. I
Yes,
was like,
yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
like I
And
made
it's
that big of a
probably because
difference.
you were there for a little bit of time too. It's not like you were there for a
Yeah.
month and out the window.
No, it's
So,
like a couple
yeah.
years, two,
And
3 years,
like
and
I really care about my employees. Like I grow to love them so much as like they become a big family, and
yeah,
and so it's really sad when like an employee does decide to leave one day when they've been with you for some time. And
yeah,
it's sad to replace them. So, yeah, we definitely miss them for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, it's always good to give your job like a 2 week notice. And if you absolutely can't, then you need to communicate that to them and be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I really want to give you 2 weeks notice, but uh, this is the time frame I have. If it's a week and a half, it's a week and a half. And I'm usually like very understanding with my employees when they're not able to give a full 2 weeks, but it's a different story when they're like, yeah, I'm just like quitting tomorrow. So see ya. Like, that's not ending on a good note. And, um,
oh, no.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, and
right.
like it helps for your future jobs too, because like I said in one of the questions I ask is like, what was your reason for leaving? And then sometimes your jobs will also call your previous jobs. That's something that you should
Yeah,
know
your
as well. Is
references, yeah.
yes. So like I could always call up Pizza Hut and say, hey, do you know so and so? Like, how did they leave? Did they leave on good terms? Like, and they're like, well, unfortunately. No, they left us hanging, and I was shorthanded for 2 weeks until I could find somebody. And so, yeah, like if you leave on like a good note, like on good terms, then that just like helps you get
Yeah.
up further down the road. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, I think I was so scared with references because I'm like, yeah, I put like my previous job as a reference sometimes because I'm like, I've left them in
Hmm.
good terms. All my
Yeah.
managers loved me. I was like, why not
Yeah.
put them on? But also sometimes I'm like, okay, I have just them, but like they say to put three references on your resume. So then I tend to just put friends that I've worked with, whether it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was at Bible school with this
Uh-huh.
person. I was like, we did a children's or we did a VBS once at Bible school. So I just put them in. I was like
Yeah.
coworker. just
Yep.
and then like I also ask them before you put them on as
Yes. They're
references.
aware.
They're aware. And
Yeah.
also like if you have a different name, let them know. Cause like so funny. Cause sometimes I always ask my
Oh, like
friends.
your name's lovely.
So like my first
Yes.
name is Lovely, and that's like my like passport name, my legal name, and everything. So then like when I apply for jobs, I apply as Lovely. So then when people like pick up the phone and like my friends are like, Lovely.
That's lovely. I
They're
don't
like,
know that lady.
who is this? And then they remember, oh, Joanna, yes, it's for
Yeah.
Joanna. So it's so funny. So I'm like, let your references know you're using them, what names you prefer, what name you
Yes.
applied for the job with, and so that they're prepared to like give a
Yeah.
great report about you. And most of the time, you better pick good friends because it'd be terrible you picked somebody that's like, no, I don't recommend them.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Too, like for people who've never had like any job experience, like one thing that you could put on there is that you were like babysitting. So like if you ever babysat when you were in high school, I love my babysitters. Like when I see that there's a babysitter, I'm like, oh, okay, they're good with kids. Like that's great.
yeah.
And if you're a dude and maybe you didn't babysit, I don't know, like if you went and mowed somebody's lawn for the summer, or, just something to put on there that shows some kind of work is always better than nothing. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can be really creative. You could literally just be like,
Mm-hmm.
so like Especially those of us who grew up in Papua New Guinea. You know how we did our restaurant runnings? Like we ran
Oh,
like
yes. I
all
forgot
our
about
skate
that.
nights and stuff.
Yes, the
I
skate
think for
nights. That's a
a
great
few,
one.
yeah, we would do fundraisers in grade 11 where you ran literally a whole restaurant, like
Mm-hmm.
several in that year to fundraise for like either like
Yeah.
Bibles to a church or whatever, or class trip. And so we often did a lot of fundraising. And so like I
Mm-hmm.
put that I had like serving experience because I'm like, we took
Yeah.
orders, we handled money, and
Mm-hmm.
we like, things like that.
We
So like
made the
if you
food and all of
we made
that. So,
food, so we
yeah.
do, yeah. So like things like that, I remember having it on my resume because I'm like,
Yeah.
I had
That's a
no
good one.
experience in like an actual job, but I could be
Mm-hmm.
like, or you volunteer. They love to see volunteering too.
You know
Like
what I
if
just
you,
remembered?
what?
The old Kunai Cafe, one of the missionaries ladies in Papua New Guinea like actually turned it into like a coffee shop where the kids can go
Oh,
work. So they're actually getting paid and getting like job experience, which I think is amazing.
that's
That is so
awesome.
needed. It's so
That's
needed.
so
Like
cool.
they need that experience. That's only going to set them up for success when they come back to their home country.
Yeah.
So that is
I mean, it just used
awesome.
to be the place where it's like you'd sell candy bars
Yeah.
and stuff
No, it's like a
for.
full-on running coffee shop. Like people go up, order coffees, they make them, they handle the money, like everything. So it's like so
Wow.
cool. I can't remember what she
That's
named
amazing.
it. She gave me a sticker, but
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. I have to go look. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So um
Wow.
I always like I have this idea, but it's not like set
Yeah.
in stone or anything. But like I thought it would be so neat to like start a program or something that like kind of like or like intertwines
Integrates.
with yeah
Yeah.
with the coffee shop over there since I own a coffee shop here and we have Frontier School of the Bible here. I was like, how cool would it be to like if some of those like employees like or like maybe you're not working at the coffee shop over there, but just in general if you're looking for a job like you come to my coffee shop, like we would train you like how to get your job. You'd have an interview. Obviously, all the things would be just like a normal person, but um,
Yeah.
yeah. But then you like have the Bible school option and all of that. So I don't know. That's always
Right.
a
Because
thought I've
like
had in the back of my head.
Frontier is right where you guys are located. Frontier.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like a 30-minute drive into
Oh, it's
town.
not
It's like
bad.
the smallest town in the world. So yeah, be prepared to be isolated.
That's when I went to Bible school,
But
girl. I was culture shocked. I was like,
yeah,
what?
I mean it's a perfect place for if you're coming overseas to like your home country, like it's perfect, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely not like if you're a big city person, like that's not for you. So,
Hey, if you're coming from Papua New Guinea, the jungle's to a small town, it's more adjustable
it's
then.
true. It's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But
Wow.
anyways, yeah, it's been so fun though talking about this. Like I'm so passionate
Yeah.
about it. And I think it's something that like I wish I had learned before coming back to my home country, Joanne. I'm sure it's the same for you. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks for
so
sharing your knowledge. I mean, honestly, this
yeah.
works out so perfectly that you own a business now and it's like very successful. I think you and Anthony run a couple businesses, right? You guys are like,
Well, he has like a gas station that's attached to our coffee shop. So,
yeah.
yeah, he does like the whole gas station part. He has a manager like run the whole thing, and then I do the coffee shop, and like, yeah, we have a couple other like side things, but we just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
But it's
something
so
that,
good you guys have that knowledge and you could share that.
yeah,
So that's, yeah, thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, well, thanks for hanging with us today through this fun conversation. I hope that you guys have learned something from today's conversation and that it was helpful for you. If you guys ever have any questions on anything, please feel free to reach out to Joanna or I. You can email us at thecolorofhomepodcast@gmail.com. We're on all social medias, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. So yeah, you can message us on Instagram as well if you have a question. And we're here for you guys. So if you have a question about a resume or application, like send it on over, like send your questions. We're happy to answer them for you and help you walk through that. You're not alone. We've all been there. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you next week.